In terms of as you were going along, it's not that you don't talk about the Holocaust. It is, present, but you didn't necessarily feel the need to, let's go back to the camps and shoot Amichai in the camp. Was that something that was discussed? Was it? Did you consciously say, no, I don't want to? I don't want that scene. I've seen it in too many other films.
Right. Well, we went back to Poland, as you see in the film, but Amichai has not been to his father's camps. I think it's too traumatizing for him. He's never been to Buchenwald. We talked about it. Yeah, I think that there's something interesting, because there is a generation now, a younger generation, that really doesn't know much about the Holocaust. And there's a rise of anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial that, is real. So I think it's interesting that this film kind of smuggles in the Holocaust into a drag story,
Yeah.
Like it actually has a way of being just one, it's not with like a point. It's organic and integral to Amichai's story and his wrestling. But it is interesting that, people are being exposed to this story of this family in a very, particular way. And that's so much about, how do we carry survival? How do we carry what it means to survive? And there's tools and there's lessons from Amichai's grandfather and his father and him, about how we take that history, for today. Sort of internally and then communally and politically. And, I think there's a lot there. So it is interesting because if this were just a Holocaust film, a lot of people wouldn't come and see it.
No, right.
No, of course not.
I think, look, it's a story of Amichai being 2G, of being second generation. And right now there's a lot of third generation and even maybe fourth generation. So, we are at a different point in history, but history does repeat itself, and we're in these cycles of trauma, as a people and what we inflict on other people. Some might say that we're just, inflicting, trauma now on Palestinians. And there's this fear, just so much fear about survival and about victimization and disappearance that is playing out, in our contemporary world. And there's a lot of pain, a lot of violence, and a lot of suffering. Yeah, I think, us taking the film to Israel, which we're going to do in a few weeks for the Israeli premiere, is going to be very potent and very powerful. And there's a real debate there that we're going to enter into. So yeah, I think as a filmmaker, it's like I wanted to make a film about Amichai in the fullness and the 360 of his story. And that family story is so core to it. Amichai has that weight on his shoulders. He carries it inside of him. He's the ancestors, his grandfather, all the rabbis are hovering around him and inside him. And he's doing things in a different way, but he's connected. He talks about the baby in the bathwater. He's like, how do we save the baby and get rid of the bathwater that we don't need?